Hello guys. Today we are making a lamp here in Plasticity, and I hope it's enjoyable. It's the most enjoyable lamp you'll ever see, I promise. So anyway, let's just push that forward. Yeah, look at that. Wonderfully centered text and everything. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. So we're making a lamp in Plasticity for the Reallusion Marketplace, and this is for a collection that I'm making for other people to use for different things, but specifically initially made for my old people line. The Harold, the angry neighbor, he's got a walker now. He's got a little side table now. I've got to make his chair, give him a rug, and this lamp is going to be part of that as well. So here we go. Let's kind of get started. I'm just going to be over here, right here in Plasticity. And just checking to see if we got some people yelling at me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that, and join the chat. Okay, cool. So with that, I'm going to start with this is going to be such a simple prop, but it's going to be kind of cool. I'm just going to start with a little circle like so. Just going to zoom into it some. And I am going to extrude that up like that. Perfect. And we're going to make another small circle because I want to kind of make this a bit angled, kind of a slope up to this part. And what I'm going to do here, if I can, I don't know if I can select this edge and then loft that edge to a curve. We'll find out though, but let's see. Loft, yeah, you can. And that's cool. I think I may or may not leave. See, this is just a straight edge. The G1 gives it a little curve. G2 gives it a little more of a curve. Let's do the G2 because that's just something I would never do. And then we're going to go do a control, what is it? Control J? Is that the one? Or is it Shift J? There it is. Nope. Yeah, that's it. Let's get rid of our circles here now. Take a look. That is our lamp base. I'm just going to go from the side, make sure all of it is even and straight. It looks good to me. There's no reason why it wouldn't be, but sometimes the perspective, as opposed to the isometric view, can tend to look a little confusing, at least for me. All right, so I'm just going to make the pole. And instead of just the pole area, let's go ahead and make a sort of a flange here that's kind of, well, maybe decorative. Who knows? I think that's a good idea. So I'm just going to make kind of a cone. So we're going to duplicate that piece. I'm going to raise it up about there, scale it to a little bit bigger than the center pole is going to be, probably something a little more like that. Maybe we're going to loft these two guys together now like this. And I'm just going to leave this as I think a G0, because if we did anything else, I'm not even sure that's going to show because we don't have any guides, just going to make it a straight cone like so. And then we will control Shift J that closed. Let me just grab the actual lofted piece. You gotta, Shift J, and now it's in a solid object. And I am thinking, careful, because when I start thinking, I'm gonna push this like so to start with. I'm gonna do something decorative here. I don't know exactly what yet, but until then, I'm gonna go ahead and make our little post that comes up right about there. And I'm gonna grab that face. And I've got to figure out, kind of based on the size of the base, just how long this pole should be. So, it could be about like that. Think that will work. Okay, let's go back down because there's something I want to do to it. Make it more interesting. So pop over into our isometric view here. It's a little easier to navigate quickly. If you guys are watching, say hello. I'm going to make a circle, just a small circle. Let's go from the top. I'll make a small circle here right on the edge, just kind of like that. In fact, we can make this a little deeper in here because I'm just going to make a little bump. And with this bump, I'm going to grab the curve, agree to this, and I'm going to make a radial array of that. And we're going to increase our numbers up to where they sort of overlap. I'm going to right click. We're going to have all these, and we're going to select our other dude here. And I'm going to join all that together. It won't let me, but I will come in here and start getting rid of a lot of these internals if it will let me do that. So here we go. And this will take a minute, of course, but and it's not really important now that I think about it, because once I select all the faces of this, that's all we need to worry about. So let's go ahead and select from the top again. Let's just select all those faces. Actually, I'm sorry, all of the curves. We'll have to deselect maybe that back one, but no, it looks good. And then that's when we will go ahead and extend this up for the full height that it's going to be. So I'm just going to grab the face here now, extrude that up, and we can pull this up to about there. And now when we look, we have this all in one piece, this rod that has, you know, a cool grooviness to it. It's a groovy rod, I'll tell you what. These are all separate pieces, unfortunately. Did not plan for that one. So I'm going to go back into my perspective view that I can actually understand how it works. I'm going to go ahead and grab all of the pieces of this pole, and we're going to meld all those together. So I'm just going to do like so, and then Q and Q, and I believe they all came up. So nope, that one failed. I hate when the Booleans fail. Alrighty. This is angry with me because I took that out right here. So one more last thing. I'm going to go back to the where this was here, and I'm going to throw those circle bits back in. This will just kind of give us a little easier time. Sorry to bounce around so much on the screen, but I'm going to get those last pieces in here. And with that, now we'll try this again. So we will extrude those with all of them selected, and probably right up to about here. Right click it. And I think now if I Q and Q these, they should bond together, but they don't. Cool. My favorite again. Okay, so these are all separate objects. We are going to cap them off. Hopefully that will work. And you know, something's got to, right? It only happens in live streams, guys. I don't honestly fail when I try to do this often. All right, so now we're going to do what's it going to be? Right click on this. No, I'm sorry. Losing my train of thought. I am going to patch these. So we just go for patch, and then the ends of these nicely get covered over, which should mean that when I queue these now, they should go together as one object, which they do. That's all I was trying to do. It just, you have to think through it about 300 times. So cool. With that, now we do have the pole, we do have the base. We need a little bit that's going to hold our socket and shade. So we need an upper sconce as well. Don't want to get too crazy with this one. It's just going to be basically a thing that holds the socket, because mostly this will be covered in the lampshade anyway. So I'm going to just make a circle like so. I'm going to duplicate that circle, and I'm going to scale it up just a little more. Something like that. Right click, and now we have a surface to work with. So as I grab just this outer face, we can pull that down. And that acts kind of like our base there. And then, of course, we can take it and pull it up higher if we want to. I'm going to go ahead, I think, I'm going to get rid of all these curves just so it's less clutter, mostly. And these are two separate bits now. I'm going to take this top one, and I believe I'm going to pull this out just a little bit, because this is going to wind up being the thing that supports the lampshade, and or at least the part that you'll see what I mean. The part that holds the metal part that holds the lampshade. And then this, we can just open this up for now to like there. I'm going to turn off the internals so we can just see what we're doing. And cool, that all looks good. We need to go back. We're going to bevel and everything else in a bit. Are you guys even hearing my words? Because, yeah, I guess you are. Had to double check. So what I'm going to do here now is we need a socket, and we need the little thing that holds the lampshade that goes over. So with that, I'm just going to draw some straight lines, I believe. It's going to come up here, like about here. I'm going to go out a bit. I'm going to go up, I think, like that. I'm going to actually look at my own lamp here. So yeah, that'll go up and over like I thought. And we're going to go this way and then like so. I'm going to center this if it will let me, which it doesn't seem to be doing, probably because my keyboard has decided to fail on me again. Now it's working. All right, cool. So all of these points now, at least these here, I want to actually bevel those points to where they have a bit of a curve to them. We right click, and now we've got this nice look. And I'm going to make a pipe out of that. So we're going to hit P, and then I'm going to make that much smaller. Something like this. And I'm also going to grab this and move it inward. Let's actually do this from the top. Not sure why that's so far off, but we're going to grab this. I'm going to snap it to the center like that. Cool, that works for me. And now we can take this piece and we can Alt exit, and we're going to use F to use our freeform or freehand version here, and that will work primarily, I think. Just want to double check on my scale of everything. I think that's working just fine. In fact, I think this might be a little taller, but we'll find out. I'm going to make this one piece right here, and we're going to get rid of that curve, and I'm going to grab that part and probably move it up a bit. I might even scale it inward. I just don't want to squish. Yeah, see, I don't want to squish it like that. So what I'm going to do is split it back in half from the front, just like so. We're going to cut that little child, and we're going to grab it here, and I'm going to cut using this line. Boom, good to go. We're going to delete that side, and I'm going to take this one and just push it over a bit. So I think that's a little too wide, and I kind of wanted it to sit closer to that hole. And we right click, and then now we can take this and I can Alt X, use F, click that on there, right click, and I'm going to union the halves, right click again, and done. So we have that part, and I'm trying to figure out now where my actual socket's going to go. And I'm not going to make the entire thing that slips out. You're not going to see probably the bottom of the bulb. None of that's important, even though it'd be cool to make it. I don't think that's probably as necessary as it seems. Let's go ahead and snap a circle. Well, we don't even need to snap a circle there now that I think about it, but we will. And I am just going to extrude this face up here till we get to about this tall, I think. Something like this. And I want to put just kind of a something that feels a bit like it's been a separate component, if that makes sense. In fact, I'm going to make this just a little bit wider. Let that stick out just a little more. I love parametric modeling because of that reason right there you just saw. And we're going to take this now. And instead of making another drawing, you know what we could do is just grab, just select that curve, and we can use a offset curve. Just pull this inner out like this. Perfect. And then we can grab our face there and just push it down for the moment. This is basically going to be the socket for the light bulb. So we can do something like that. Get rid of this curve. And I think now we can do our light bulb, stick it in there. I'm just waiting till I get the light bulb in there to put anything on because I don't know exactly kind of where and how that's going to go. The little thing that turns it off and on, the little roll switch or whatever, can go right there too. There will be another one down at the bottom, obviously, for, you know, the old guy sitting in his chair. But I think for the moment, we can just knock that out by, you know, tapping shift here, making us, is that going to work? Doesn't that work where you can tap shift? Guess that's not working here. Maybe because we don't have this on. Nope. So there we go. We can do it that way. Just tap shift on the edge. And now I can make a hole, which is going to only go through the one side. So the way I'm going to achieve that is just to select this face, hit W, select this guy, and then when we pull this through, it cuts. Right click, done, get rid of the circle. So now we have the opening for that switch, or that roll, you know, the twisty knob switch thing to go in. And then I'm going to make a little bit of a fillet or a chamfer right there. And then we're going to create the actual switch. So I'm just going to find the center here. And the way I'm going to do that, there's 100 different ways to do that. I'm just going to make a line that goes across like that. And then we can find the same thing kind of here and make another one. Now I know exactly where my center is so that when I make another circle, it fits perfectly in there. Now this is going to be the, let's make this about that big. I don't know if that's the right diameter for it, but I guess it could be. And then we're going to, I think this is going to be the outer portion, I believe. I'm just trying to sort that out. So let me get rid of these curves, the two lines. And this one, I think I'm going to move out a little farther, because this will be the end before we get to the little part you twist with your fingers. So I'm going to grab that, pull it this way, something about that long. Let's exaggerate slightly, duplicate that circle, move it into wherever the internal workings of this may live. And we're going to also scale that down so it can have a taper from inside out. Then we're going to grab that curve and this curve here and loft those together. Boom. I think that's kind of okay. It's a little bit too much of an angle. Plus, I think this is going to need to come out farther as well. So let's go ahead and make that circle just slightly smaller. and then here and here and loft, right click, accept, and then we're going to go with a Shift J to close that up, get rid of our circles. All right, so there's that. And now we want to make the little actual part that turns in your fingers. So I'm going to make 2 circles from the front here. I'm going to make one just a little bit bigger than this, maybe about like so. Yeah, why not? And then another one that's going to be a little bit smaller, maybe about this big. That smaller one we're going to move forward, like about to here. This one we're going to move forward as well, a little bit more, but you know, like that, maybe a tiny bit more. And then we're going to loft from this edge to this one to this one, hit L, and we're going to have to go with G0 with that. And I think we need to release tension on these guys. I'm not sure. 0 zeros. I'm going to do these again. And what I want to do is go from here to here, I think, and loft first, and make sure that this is at a G0. Right click. Then I'm going to loft from this one to this one. That way the tension of that won't interrupt the tension of this, I believe. So there we go. Perfect. And then now I can take these, this, and this, and probably combine them together. But because this is not a solid yet, that will not work. So I'm going to join these first, which they are now. And then I'm going to go with a Control J to patch this guy over. And if it won't let me, which it should, don't know why it's not, we're going to get rid of the curves to start with. And because this is a lofted part without anything else, Control J, we are going to make a solid out of it. And I'm going to come up here and unpatch is Shift J. That's why it wasn't working. There we go. And then now we're going to connect this to this. So QQ, boom, done. All right, so that's mostly it. We're going to come back and do the details shortly. All right, so with that, now we need to throw our bulb in here. And I'm going to make a bulb from scratch. And we're just going to create, you know, a circle like so. I'm going to grab that and get it up, snapped into where we are. So let me just grab the thing, and we're going to snap it right up in here to here. There we go. And now I'm going to scale that down, obviously. Let's scale it one more time. And I don't believe we are centered yet. So cool. Let's scale it again. And then I'm going to get this, grab it and try to snap it to the center. One of these centers is the right one. Let's go from the top, and I bet you $1 we'll find it in see-through mode. Let's just somewhere there. Perfect. And now with that snapped in there, we'll turn off X-ray. I'm going to just make a cylinder, and we're going to make this real basic style to start with because it's just how you should start. No, you don't do details first, trust me. And with that moved, I'm going to grab this and pull up. Just make a cylinder about there. And I'm going to then do what's called a hollow a solid. So I'm just going to grab this and click hollow, and you can tell it how much you want that to come in, and it'll hollow the whole thing, which is really cool. Which I probably should have waited on now that I think about it, because we're going to have to chamfer this bottom end. Not that we're going to see it, but hey, because I can be a little OCD about it, let's just go ahead and do it now like this. Okay, now we can hollow this solid because that way we could still come back and fix that. So I'm going to come in here and do that, hollow, and just pull this inward like so. Done. Okay, cool. And now we're going to do another piece. This is going to be for the glass. And I'm just going to snap it if it'll let me right to here and to here. And we're just going to bring this up. We're going to make a bulb, and I'm going to do this by making a curve, spline curve, that goes from here to about here to here. Let's look from the side, zoom out a little bit more. There we go. And I'll make this, I'll fix these points here shortly. And something like this, and to about here. I'm going to grab the points, adjust these around to a better shape. And get this one kind of like so. I think that will work. So what now we're going to do is we're going to grab that curve. We're going to do a revolve right here around this guy. Right click and keep it, and there it is. Easy, easy as pie, right? Just gonna put those here, delete these two, not the revolved. Boom and boom. And on the revolved piece, we're going to want to do our Shift J and make that a solid. So that's going to be our bulb. And I'm just going to call that bulb. This will get a glass texture and whatnot put on it so that it looks, cool. If you guys are watching, say hello, like and subscribe, and the whole 9 yards. So now I'm going to have that selected and go in here, and we're going to go into the magnifying glass, and I'm going to put delete redundant topology, which will remove any extra lines and so forth, or edges from it. We're going to do the same here. This probably needs all the topology it has, but I just like to find out. And I'm not really digging all of these really hard-edged, corners here. So I'm going to come through here. I guess I could have just drug this over, but we're going to fillet all of these to be nice and smooth. These are a little harsher than I wanted them to be. They were just there to make the turns. So now that okay, we're going to have to do this either one at a time or one side at a time. Let's just find out if we can get away with these 4 to start with. And no, we cannot. So we're going to try these 2. And no, we cannot. So I'm going to try 1. And it does it a little. It's just because they are so janky. I'll try this one. No, because they're crossing over themselves. There is a way to sort that. We may be waiting until we're in Blender to sort that, though. Let me just do some thinking here also. We can do this raised degree, which may be able to, no, I guess that doesn't work. Okay, cancel. Never mind. We didn't need to do that. I just was trying to add some subdivisions to it. If I have to, I can remake the pipe. It's not that big of a deal. It's actually a really simple thing to do in here. But if we didn't have to, then that would be better, obviously. But I just see if we can do a rebuild, and that didn't work for us either. Like I said, not a big deal to remake the pipe. I'm going to leave this one here, though. And to show you how easy this is, I'm just going to come up here, here. I'm going to make, and you know what? Let me escape that, because what I need to do is be making a control point curve, I believe. So I'm just going to come up here. We're going to snap it to that one. We're going to snap it to that one, and so on. This should work fantastically. if all goes correctly. And let's go to these centers of these parts. And if for any reason it seems like this is just going to be too soft, if that makes sense, we can always go and put more points in. So we just come over to that curve now. We can grab the points, but we can also, in our, what do you call it, X-ray mode, sorry, we can grab these points and shift them around to where they have a little more kind of like bite to them, if that makes sense. So they're a little harsher angled, like so. If they get weird, then it's just a matter of straightening them back out. These are a little too far apart, so they don't have enough of an edge. You can see kind of what I'm doing there. It helps. These are not 100% going to fix everything, but they are going to greatly assist. All right, so I'm going to delete the pipe, and we're going to remake it based on that curve now. So with that curve selected, hopefully all goes well. This time, we're going to hit P, and we have a new pipe that's probably going to look better once we get it the right thickness, which will be around something like this. And I'm just going to right click and say OK. And this is a nice solid piece because pipes come out solid. I am going to grab it and quite possibly move it out just a little bit to keep it off that bulb. Maybe just like there. We're going to get rid of our curve now that we don't need anymore. And I'm going to extend this end just by grabbing that face and pulling it forward. Done. Whoops, sorry. And pulling it forward, making sure we right click. And now with that dude here, I'm just going to Alt X. And we're going to use F to freehand where we put this center. So let's do that again here. Alt X, then F. And I'm going to say go across this place. Where are you? There. And we are good to go. And then I'm going to cue those together. And if we wanted to get rid of redundant topology, we could. But now when we move this guy down, we should have, enough clearance once that gets here. And when the bulb itself is dropped down in here, which it needs to be like this, there'll be enough clearance for that. So these will have little bases at the bottom. Basically, get it? I'm going to take this guy and yeah, just add little bits here. You'll see what I mean. So first little bit of detail is very minimal, but you'll get the idea. This is just going to cut here. In fact, let's make it cut all the way across in one fell swoop, as they say. And I'm going to grab this box, this piece, cut it with this. And now we'll get rid of the curve because we don't need it anymore. And we're going to take the surfaces of this, and we're just going to expand these out, which is really cool because look at that. You don't even have to model it or do anything extra. It just works. And then these guys will select as objects. I'm going to pull them a little bit up to get them out from being embedded in that lower piece like this. And one thing I'm going to be doing a lot of, you'll see, is putting chamfers and bevels on like everything. So the chamfer is going to be more of a angled kind of bite into like this, which, certain things need. And once we get that enough that we want it, we're going to go back again to a lot of them, and we're going to add what are called fillets, which will go the other way, and they round over a little bit. And we're not going to make those as big unless it's supposed to be a big round part, because those will look cool, but they do increase our polygon count in the end. All right, so this will get a chamfer, this will get a chamfer, and so will this one. I'm just going to make all these the same size. We're just going to push those in to about here. Looks great. And then we can fillet all of those edges. Maybe not that one. These two here, here, and here, and here. So we're going to fillet those over just a little, and done. Cool. So now we need to do something about this little knob here. And before we do anything to it, I'm going to make some little ridges that go around it. So looking at it from the front side here, I'm going to do this, in a isometric view. We're going to make a little, I'm going to need to make a dividing line here. So we're going to make a small little circle that starts, and we can go D to change the direction of that, right? D, no. Tab, no. I really swore you could do that. So I'm going to get a see-through here. Let's undo. Let's redo. And I'm going to make a circle, but I need to make it on this surface. So I'm just going to do it about like this big. I'm going to grab this over and snap it to the center of this guy. And let me just make sure we pull this out now to where this is going to live. And I want to snap that all on the floor right here to this line. I'm going to look from the front now. You guys enjoying this? Let me know. Snap that to this curve-ish, right about there. It doesn't have to be exactly there. I'm just going to make a mess. I'm going to make a some ridges. This is going to be one of the ridges. So obviously we have a little rotation that we do not want. So I'm going to grab that and go around until it's at least flat as it can be. Almost made a childish joke, but I'm not going to. Someday I will again. And so let's see, zoom out, look at the whole thing. Can I come back up here? From the front. Okay, that's working. I just want to make a tube, basically. So I'm going to duplicate this circle. I'm going to move this until I snap it to this line, and then we're going to raise it up. I'll look at it from the front to ensure this is going to snap to the center of that. And now we're going to loft from here to that front circle. So I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to take this one and this one. And I am going to loft. But, this one here, I'm almost thinking needs to be angled. So we're going to rotate it this way to kind of match the angle. And I'm going to loft it between here and here. L, done, and right click. There you go. We're going to get rid of these two circles, and I'm going to take this lofted piece, and we're going to shift J, this one. It's we got to use the solid. For some reason, it's not letting me, which is kind of odd. I'm going to go and that should be shift J. Can't make a solid from given faces. Interesting. So I'm going to go here and try to find patch, shift J. It's still not working. So I'm then going to grab this ring here and try to shift J that end, which does work. And this one we're going to try here and do that one and shift J that end. Now, granted, those are a little stiff looking, but as you get farther away, the resolution looks better. I think it's just a resolution problem mostly. And we hope. All right, so back into isometric view. It's not letting me get closer than that, which I find odd. Okay, so with that, let's just jump back from the front here. And I'm going to make a radial array out of that object, like so. And I think with a little more, just a few more of these guys like this, it'll look the way we want. Perfect. We'll select also this switch, cue those together. If it will let me, just going to give it a second to find a way to do it, and it's not going to, so that's fun. I'm going to undo that Boolean. And what I have to do is probably not include this one yet. Maybe we need to cue that together and then this one, and then right click. And they look like they're still not together, which is fun again. Yeah, that Boolean is not going to work. So what I need to do is figure out why. I think one of our problems here, though, is this dude. So I'm going to undo that. We are selected on everything, and I'm going to try and QQ those one more time. That is not going to work. And I think it has to do something with the fact that this still is not exactly as it needs to be. So we can thicken this sheet, though. I don't know how much we can get away with doing that. So I'm going to try that method with thicken should work. Let me just select it. I'm going to here and thicken. And now if that closes this up, which it doesn't, okay, never mind. So now we need to figure out a way to patch this is what we need to do. So Shift J is the way, but it's just not going to happen. It's probably got to do with the angles I used when we made the actual pipe. So let's do this one more time. And when this is here, we can always trim the ends if we need to. And I'm going to try it like so. Curve and curve. See if this works in Loft. Right click to accept. And then we're going to say Shift J. We are able to patch it that way. So those angles were pretty dependent on that scenario. If I need to, I can come to the back of this. And if I really want to trim that like a hanging over old man's toenail, that you can see right here, then we can if we really want to. I think what I'm going to do, though, instead is grab these two curves here. And I'm going to, or maybe all of them, and I'm going to, that doesn't work. I'm going to grab one of them and just try to chamfer it in. I guess that isn't going to work no matter what I do. Maybe we can fill it in. There we go. That's better than nothing. I'm going to fill it in this one as well. Perfect. And now we can do the radial array straight from the middle like this. Done. Right click, and then we can select our switch body. Cue those together. Hopefully, it would be nice if it took it this time. I have a feeling it's not going to though. Still working, and maybe, and I don't know what's happening, but I'm seeing some weird stuff going over there. Okay, that did not work. We may have to do this a few at a time, if you can imagine. So Q, Q, right click, and those are partially in there. Let's find the ones that are and aren't. Those look like they all are. So I'm going to grab 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe more, and queue those together. And wait, that's failing. Got to figure out which ones and why. It might just be that there's too many. So we'll try 3 at a time. And that seems to work. So make sure. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and QQ. And that seems to work. I'll try 4. You always got to try a little more. Nope, it's only 3 at a time, guys. 1, 2, 3. There we go, and QQ. And that does not seem to work. So this guy has a problem, apparently. Yeah, there's a weird angle thing happening with that one. I'll leave him single for now. 3, 4. It might be the reason why this didn't work, in the first place. Nope, looks like there's multiples. Dag nabbit. Yeah, it's not my favorite thing to be happening right now. All right, so I can fix this one more time. I think there's a better way to do this probably than what I'm doing here anyway. So let's just unselect these and unboolean them. And I'm going to deselect the switch. I'm going to get rid of those. And what we can do is create quite possibly something better. So I am going to think for a second. And this may work. I'm going to go from the top down into it a little bit, back up and back over. Let's look at our, yeah, that didn't work. And we're going to make a little triangle. I'm just trying to make this work in one direction or the other depending on what it's going to let us do. So we have most of, and this is being difficult every step. We're going to make this little triangle here. Right click. It is not going to accept this triangle. I don't know why. And it won't let me get any closer, even on either mode, which is also odd. Let's just go here to here, right click. It does not want to. So we're going to extend out the points. So we can't do anything else. We're going to do that. I'm just going to grab those points, grab them and move them up because it might be too close to the edge, which does happen. And I'm about to break. Okay, and we're going to go from here to here and right click, and it does not want to. It does not want to. So let's find out what. I bet you that we have a curve there. Maybe? Nope, we don't. Okay, something's up. I don't know what it is. I'm going to grab these curves here and I'm going to join those together. Ooh, they keep disappearing when I join them. That's weird too. So Z, let's just grab the whole thing, pull it forward. Not sure why this is happening, but hey, that's the theme, isn't it? Just going to go from here to here. There we go. Had to trick it. And with that, we have our little triangle. This is probably just going to give me the same problem as I had before, but it may not. I'm going to radial array this triangle now around the center here. Ooh, we gotta select all lines, all these curves. I'm going to join those together, hopefully. Nope. Gosh, dang it. Okay, we're going to radial array them as separate. That's fine, as long as they work. And I'm going to also deselect. Nope, I'm going to select. And I'm also, gosh, what am I going to do? I'm going to make another curve. That's what I'm going to do. Come on, mouse. There we go. I'm going to make another curve exactly the size of this knob. Okay. Looks like we already had one, but it's all right. No, we didn't. That's the one we have. And then I'm going to take these three. So that one is mounted to it where we want it. I'm going to take these three. We're going to move those back, snap them to that curve. Now I'm going to radial array those this way. We're going to do that again because I need to increase the number. Thrice the number. All right, like that. Yeah, something like that. And we have all of those. And now I am going to grab this as well. And we should be able to join that up. Probably not. Nope. And now from the front, we're going to do something that's relatively difficult. And I'm going to try and cut all the curves with that cutter right there. So let's deselect that one. I'm going to go into my cut curve command. And we're going to use that curve to do the cutting. Right click to accept. And that probably worked. And so I am going to grab these curves now. You can see, no, it didn't. Cool. That's fine because what I probably need to do anyway is get rid of all this jive, which is gonna just be kind of hell, guys. Yeah, this is the funnest day ever. So with my skizzers, all right, I'm not even sure that I need to be doing that, but let's now. This is probably just going to be a nightmare. I'm going to be honest with you. Let's get rid of that curve. I don't even see a point of that curve at this point. Let's get rid of it. You ever wonder why you're doing anything? Yeah, so I'm just going to get rid of, well, we don't even need to because we're going to push this back anyway. Okay, cool. So back here, I'm going to do the same, essentially the same thing. And I'm going to make something very similar, if not exactly the same. Let's try to maybe duplicate it and scale it up. That'd be something. Let's just grab this without X-ray on from the front. There we go. And I'm just going to say, you probably should have done this like this. Because I can always get rid of the other curves that I don't want to be selecting probably. Like that one. And we're going to take this, duplicate it if it lets me. I'm going to move this back to snap it to here. Right click, make sure our X-ray is on. Looking from the front now. I'm going to scale it up. I hope this is not as boring for you guys as it feeling for me. I'm going to knock that down just a bit right. here, right click, and make sure it's on the space it's supposed to be on. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to give it a go. What I'm trying to do is I want to essentially loft geez, I'm not even sure this is going to work, but we're going to try. That's going to grab everything, isn't it? Of course it is. This, yep, not what I wanted. Dun, dun. Yeah, great. So I'm going to grab this face, but see, that's the issue, isn't it? I can't loft this face to that one, I don't believe. So I am gonna, from the side here, I'm gonna hide this knob. And then now I'm gonna try and loft these two shapes together. This to this. And I think it needs guides. So right click, and I'm gonna make a line. Hopefully this will work as a guide. I don't know for a fact. Hello, why aren't you working? Align. Hello, align please. Why isn't it doing my lines? Interesting. It does not want to let me do anything. Okay, let's give it a minute. Oh boy. You know what that means. So, really quickly, I'm gonna pop back over here for just a second. I am going to attempt to reboot Plasticity, because it did in fact crash, and it might have crashed the computer. We'll find out. Didn't crash the computer, but it is just sitting and doing nothing. We're gonna kill it for 5 seconds, and we're gonna reopen it, and hopefully our piece is still gonna be there. That'd be something. All right, and it is. So let's just jump back over to where we were. But yeah, this doesn't seem to want to loft or do much of anything. So what I'm gonna do, let's move my stuff back over here. And let's see if we can get this to create a center of some kind. I want to make sure that I am not selecting anything there. I'm just going to try and snap a line from here to the center of this one if it will let me. I'm just going to go like so. And I don't know if that's going to work. Man, everything is like sticking. I hate that. It gives me a very claustrophobic feeling when I try to move something on screen and it just won't go, or it jiggles around in a way I don't expect. I hate that. Okay. Feels like, yeah, it makes me feel claustrophobic. All right, so what I'm going to try and do now is we're going to try and loft these using that as our guide. I don't know if that will work. We might have to have an angled guide like this, but I wouldn't think so. So we're going to do it. We're going to select this as a guide, and I'm just going to wait. It's probably going to crash again just because this is I think it's a difficult operation. It's not meant to do this way. And that seems to be the case, doesn't it? Okay. I mean, it's a lot. A lot of edges. So that looks like it's not going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and snap out of that. With all that worked right there, that's not going to happen. It's kind of a shame. There's no way to get those two to loft together or extrude together that I know of. Unless maybe, let's try this. I'm always about trying something else. If one thing doesn't work, there's 900 that might, and we are locked again. This is going to crash again because I cannot use my tools nor select anything on the screen here because it's stuck in that loft mode evidently. Yeah. So here we go again. Killing plasticity. Don't pay attention to my screen. Yeah, there's a lot of crap on it. Sorry about that, guys. And so what I'm going to do is just kill this forward face here, or all of the curves, in fact, that are there. And it doesn't even want to let me cut those, but let's do this. There we go. Nope. That's different. I don't know why that's happening. Okay, let's try the back one instead then. Interesting. Let's try these. That could be my keyboard. I have a driver that's really messed up and giving me a hard time. I explain this to everybody all the time. And so what I'm going to do, I think, is try to delete the front one. And it will not let me do it. That is weird. That is weird. I don't know what's going on with these pieces here, man. But look at this. It's not even letting me click again for no reason. I got a temporary plane going there, but that's its own set of problems. I wonder what's going on. It's not like we got 400 things open. I do have Blender open, so let me just save that table. That's probably what it is. Save, quick save. Uh-oh. I'm not sure why, but it won't let me save my table. Oh boy. That is not good, folks. At least we already ported it over, so we'll just close that out. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening here, but it's, oh, look at this. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. It literally won't let me select. It won't let me do anything, so well, I guess we're going back to this cool view real quick. I'm going to try and come in here and reopen it again. I might have screwed the pooch on this one. We'll see. It would not be cool. I don't know why people use that phrase. It's gross. I don't even know what it means. But delete this face. At least it let me do that this time. And now these curves, this curve. So, okay. So what I was thinking maybe of doing is taking this face and extruding it out as long as our other switch part is. So if I just pull this out, snap it to that end, and then I'm going to hide the switch just so it's not in our way. Get rid of the curves. We have a lot of them. So this could also be messing with the computer because there's so many extra curves there, you see, that it's just like, come on. I mean, it can handle it, but it also can get stuck. This is going to be interesting, but I'm thinking I might, probably won't be able to. I wish I could just scale this face like you would in some other programs, to bring all that in, but this is not a luxury in Blender. Doesn't do that. We might be able to draft this face. However, we're going to be drafting all those other guys. Let's just find out if this one might work this way, and that's just going to draft the one. So if I select here and then hit draft face, I don't think it's going to let you draft more than one face at a time. So with, oh, darn it, I'm going to select that face, draft face. I'm going to look from the side and try to grab all of these faces. Let's try this one more time, guys. Here, draft face, go from the side. I don't think you can marquee select them, though. It's the only thing. And I would really, really like this to kind of Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, that wrapper, make it look like that. So, and I think this is probably, maybe I just went the worst way about this that could have been done. I don't think this is the way that it's going to work. Yeah, with parametric modeling, you have to go in a certain order of operations, and I don't think that order works. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that piece. It's a cool piece. You know what, though? If we could swap this out for the other switch, it doesn't have the angle, but maybe it's just as cool. Let's see. I actually like it. Perfect. Problem solved. And I'm going to take that little in bit and just kind of push that in. And then I'm going to create a circle on the end of that. We just wasted a whole bunch of time for no reason. And I'm going to put my tools over here because I do not like them over here, the new way they do it. So I'm going to just make snap another circle to here. Something about like that. And I'm going to take that face and just extrude that in. I'm going to go W, select this, push that in there like that so that it has a recess. We can get rid of a curve, and I'm happy with that. That is not a problem. Cool. Let's give that a little bit of a chamfer just here. Good to go. Don't need much here. I don't think I'm going to worry about the fillet there, but yeah, I will. I don't know why I say that when I know I am. And we'll put that little one there. Okay, cool. So that is the knob. That is, looks like we need a couple here too. Look at me. At least one. And I'm going to pull that one out slightly. Micro fillet. And cool. Right click to accept. And then we can go ahead and do, and I'm not going to chamfer those guys, but you know what? I really hate the fact that that goes up to there and just butts up against it. So I'm going to use this to minus from this, but I'm going to keep the tools. So now we right click, we have, I'm going to hide this piece right here. Oh, that didn't work. I did it the other way around. So I'm going to use this one and Q and use this one as the minus. There we go. But we're going to keep the tools and right click. So now when you hide this one, of course, this one will have a recess. The reason being, I'm going to take these edges here and chamfer that back to where it appears that, it's an opening. This one's going to be filleted a little bit. I just like that look. I can take this one and fillet that one, this way as well. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this one and delete it. And I'm going to take the finished one, and we're going to Alt X that over using the free me, because my name is Willie version. And we're just going to flip it like so. Right click and accept. Good to go. So now when we bring this piece back on, it fits, but it has these cool, little, where it connects. Looks more natural is what I was trying to say. Cool. So there's that. I think all of that's fine. We're going to have to make the filament, etc., for the inside that bulb. We don't need to. We could just put a glowing light in there, which might be the better thing to do at the moment. This has a line that might be unnecessary, so I'm going to just come in here and delete the redundant topology. But no, it is needing that. It's not a perfect match. Is probably what that is. How you guys doing? If you're watching, say hello, ask me questions, let me know you hate my guts, whatever you want. Okay, so that's okay. I think I'm trying to sort if the bulb might be a bit too small at the top. So more than likely, this whole in section is seemingly, too small. So right here, I'm just gonna zoom back out to get a better view of the whole thing. Yeah, that's definitely too small. I'm gonna scale it and just give us a nice bulb like that. And this piece, to make this fit and feel better, here's something cool that most people don't know you can do, is we can grab these fillets and literally and chamfers and just hit delete and they go away. We can grab this guy and we can pull that in more. For some reason it's not centered, so we're going to grab that whole top section again of objects. You can see that it's not centered. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to come over and snap it here. And that's what the problem is it's not even centered because our centering is not centered. So we're going to go with our V, and I'm going to use, let's just say, something in the middle here. And we're going to snap that to the curve like so. And then I'm going to bring up our surface right here to tighten that around here better. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap because we are going to put a chamfer on that right here. Push that back up to make it look like a socket a bit. Not a light socket, but technically I guess it is a light socket. So like so, and then we'll take this one and we're going to fillet that one around just slightly, as well as this one. So I think that's looking okay. I'm going to take this bottom piece and this piece. We're going to join those together permanently. That's going to be a piece of black plastic there. And what's cool is you can come in here in Plasticity and just set yourself up for materials by just selecting stuff and, say that's going to be blackish, so that when you look at your rendered view, you get this. And it doesn't have to be, that ugly. When we look at this without edges, this is more of what it will be. That's a black piece of plastic. This is going to be like a kind of a coppery type color or something at some point. So I'm going to go kind of with a reddish orange kind of color, maybe a little more red in that, right? Bring the metalness up, that was all the way up. So I'm going to go about 80. The roughness can come up a bit on that too, which I'm not seeing it come up much. And this clear coat roughness now can also be brought up. I'm not really sure why not. That's not really popping up and changing as much as I'd expect. Back to material, just probably because the metalness maybe is so high, but no, I'm not really seeing that that change. That is different. The sheen roughness and sheen specular intensity, nothing's really changing any of that. Interesting. It might be the type of of material we're selecting. That should be the one that, you know, is like the specular roughness, etc. So yeah, I'm just kind of curious why that's not as shiny as that should really be. In fact, nothing looks like it's really changing much. Maybe it only does it in perspective mode. So material, nope, nope, that's just not, it's not working. Interesting. Don't know why. So this is going to be another piece of the black plastic. Those actually are going to get QQ'd together as well. That Boolean failed, so I don't know why. We might have to do that outside of render mode, but we'll just use that like it is. And it could be just the two surfaces are barely different sizes. So if I scale this one up here just slightly, I'm going to come out of this render mode, put on my edges back to here, and I scale this one up slightly. Whoops. We need to have this. Its center is not where it belongs. So we're going to go V and snap this exactly to its center like this. And then now when we size it, it will scale from here. That'll keep us from having a weird edge anomaly thing going on. And when I queue these together, it will work now. So yeah, something to think about. So anyway, material, we can make this one a black kind of plastic as well. You'll see when we go back in there, our edges off, that we have that. Just curious why we're not getting roughness, you know, because this, there we go. For some reason the metalness was sticking on this. I think it's a plasticity bug. You see this one also, that set material is having problems. You saw that happening just as I was trying to shift it. Roughness is a little rough for metal as well, so we'll just knock that down to look good. And these aren't really going to stay, but the properties I think do transfer over at least. These are going to be more of a goldish color, of course, something along these lines like that. And maybe we can keep the metalness up. This gets the same essentially. I don't know if you can copy materials over. I have not heard that. You can select things by material. You can edit the material. I don't know that you can copy the material though, which that's something they probably should work on for a future update. So here we're going to try that again. And this are really just indicators more than the actual material or whatever in the end, but I think you get the idea. So something along that line too. This is going to be glass, so I don't, let me see if we can go any type of transparency on this. I don't think so. Transmission and opacity. So transmission is where we want to kind of go here. Light will transmit through that. The opacity, I'm just going to put down slightly. And I think that's fine. So the color of that can be a, you know, yellow, orange, and we can put a iridescence or whatever on it. I don't know how much that's going to show up in plasticity, of course, but you get the idea. So a little thicker. That looks kind of cool. And metalness probably could, yeah, let's just leave it maybe kind of like so. The iridescence is what really makes a huge change in here on that. This is the index of reflection for it. Yeah, you get the idea. So I'll just maybe up that some more. The metalness, maybe even a little more. It's kind of neat looking. You get the idea. That is what I said. And then anything else can be, I think all of this is going to be pretty much a brass, pretty much color. Not sure why that's, oh, those are separate pieces. So let's just get this, and this, and join at least some of those together. And then maybe this one can be joined as well, I hope, which it now can. Cool. So, and then we're going to join, I think, this piece with it, if it will allow. It doesn't look like it's because it's not making any contact, and that is fine. So with those selected now, though, I can come in here and change its material to that kind of goldish color. I usually hit a little bit of orange to keep it warm. And there we go. There's 90% of our lamp. We are eventually going to make a cord for it. I'm going to come down here, though, and work on the base just a little bit because it's not a whole lot going on down here. Let's just round over that corner some. Is that working for us? I believe so. Not going to worry about the rounding off the bottom one, but we are going to take care of this dude if we can. There we go. And this one is joined, so I'm going to round this one out the other way, which is cool that that can happen. And this one is going to round over as well. And then this one a little. There we go. Okay. So nice looking, working for me. If we really wanted to be sticklers, I could be completely perfectionist about this, and we could hollow this. I don't know if it's gonna, yeah, I guess it will work if I'm careful. Let's just try this again, go in the other direction. Got to be careful because it wants to go all the way up the lamp. So hollow, and we're gonna go push inward, just about like that. So now we have this hollow base. Here's the top, and now we need our lampshade, the part that gets supported from this top also. So from the top, let's just go back into our standard mode with our edges on. We need to make a little plate that basically is welded to this bar and can be screwed into the lampshade screw that comes and holds that on. So I'm going to make a, probably, we can make it a round plate. It's fine. So something about this big. It's got to be bigger than the bolt that's going to go through it, and it's got to have enough space to support any of the lampshade arms that come over and are held up by it. And then we can put a little knob on the top to kind of finish it off. So I'm going to grab this and pull it up like so as a little sort of metal plate. Let's get rid of this circle. And we need to make some kind of probably like a weld looking bit here. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and make a curve. Where is our, there we go, a tangent arc. It's going to run essentially from here, and we can switch our direction, but I need this to run inside of this surface. Not sure that that can be done here. So what I'm going to do is just kind of make a 90-degree tangent arc. I'm just going to make a line here and a line here. I'm going to build it over here. This will be separate. So I'm just going to kind of go like this, and we're going to hit D to change its direction. And once it's tangent, I can grab that particular curve. We're going to move it here. And I'm going to grab it from just this very end so that I know I'm going to snap that to this surface. I'm going to grab it once again from this end. So with V, We're going to grab G and then V from this end, and sorry, G, V, and then I can move it and snap it somewhere, essentially to that surface. And then I'm going to grab the whole curve now and just move it in. And it doesn't have to be really moved in now that I think about it. Let's turn this off. And I'm going to make sure, yep, that looks pretty good there. I'm basically going to make a weld here. So what I need to do is, and I could do this probably better in Blender, but we'll sculpt it some in there. I'm just going to now make a line that goes from here, and I do want to snap it to this so I can. And we're going to come back. I'm just going to make a line that's behind the scenes there to where get this shape. And now I'm just going to take this and push it over to, you know, an amount. That'll be our sort of weld, especially when everything here is done. And I can come into the edges and really kind of soften those out some more. Then I can grab these and soften maybe those. And if not, that's totally fine, because that is not a big deal. That can be fixed over in Blender. And I'm going to see maybe if I can grab this line here and just kind of bulge that up like a weld might be. The same here, like that. And then we're going to grab this line, hopefully in this line. Oops. So I'm going to undo that, grab this line, and pull those out real slight. See if it'll let me just do it a little bit. I know it will. Just pull real small. Right, maybe there. So we get a little bit of roll there. It's going to simulate our weld for the moment. So now I'm just going to Alt X that, and we're going to hit F, and I'm going to hit this line here, and we're going to swap that over to the other side as well. If I can find my center, let me escape from that and go to the side here exactly. And we're going to Alt X, F, and right here I'll just pop that in like so. Okay, then we're going to chamfer / bevel these edges down a bit. Really great timing. Get these down, probably going to bevel those in a bit like so. And we will need to make a socket of some kind here that the lamp base kind of screws into. And so, man, don't like when it does this, kind of picks where it wants to jump from. I know there's a way to stop it from doing that, but I can't remember what it is. And so therefore, now I'm going to make a center circle from here. Oh boy, that's not letting me for some strange reason. What is it selecting? Let's go to our center circle. Shouldn't be doing anything but from the top, which it's looking through, which is weird. I'm just going to go here and create a circle this way, you know, an amount. And I think that will work. I'm going to see how much that should be. That's not bad. I'm going to move it down just slightly though. And we're going to extrude that down until we get to here, the surface. We can join the two of those together now, I believe, if we want. So I'm just going to put those together. And then I'm going to give a little bit of a beveled out edge there. Looking all right. And then, of course, we need to make a place for this piece that comes down to fit, and for a little ball to screw onto right here. So we're just going to make another one kind of like so. I'm just going to push that in, hit W, hit this, and push that down. We could even go all the way through now that I think about it. So let me do this again. Hit W, click that, and go all the way through. And now we have this. And that doesn't work because now our welds don't work. So let me just hit W, select this, go down a certain amount. Not all the way, obviously. Otherwise our welds won't work. And yeah, I've done something wrong again. This, W, down. Okay, good enough. Works for me. And we want to chamfer, I think, the edges on the top. So I'm just going to grab those and pull that inward. And so there'll be a screw in here, but we're not going to see that. It's just the part that supports the shade. And then I'm going to want to start figuring out where all this shade business connects. So let's also figure out just what our shade looks like. I'm going to make a round shade. So make a couple of circles, I think will work. So I think this one will start about, let's go with about that big, I think, for the small end. And we'll do another one. I don't know exactly how high it's going to sit yet either. So another circle in the middle of that one. And let's go maybe out here for the bigger. Once again, don't know yet. So we're going to grab that. These are probably going to be different sizes than they are right now. It's okay. Let's make them both a bit bigger. Just going to scale those up. This one might be up higher. I think that works. So we're going to loft these two together. And we're not going to cap those off, though. We're going to thicken this one. And we don't even probably need to thicken it because we're going to put a pipe on the edge of both of these edges. So I'm going to put one here. And we're going to put one down here too. And we're going to hit P. And this needs to be a positive one. So we're going to hit B to create a new body. And that's almost perfect as it is. I'm just going to make it a tad bit bigger. Maybe like that. Cool. And I'm thinking maybe now the whole thing should go farther down so that these little arms can be reaching that part right here, which means I might make that a little bit different size, but I think overall it's not bad. And cool. I just keep backing up to look at it. I think that's okay. So now we need a couple of uprights on here. 100 ways that can be done as well, but this is a really cool, simple way of doing that. Let's, instead of what I'm doing, let's grab a rectangle. I'm going to do a center rectangle. So from here, I'm going to go up and down and about that big. Look at this to the side because I made this obviously longer than I meant to, but it's just part of how this goes. For about right here, I think that will be fine. So in the front now, where we were, yeah, I think that'll work. I'm going to grab the whole thing and pull this way. And with that curve selected, I'm going to use, I think it's Shift I. We're going to select that, and it's going to imprint that curve onto our shade. And you're like, well, why would you do that? Well, now I can take this and pull this out like a little support arm. In fact, what I wish I could do is extract this from the other part. And I'm going to see if you can. I don't think you can, but I might be able to. Cut, join, thicken, sweep, revolve, extrude. I need something that, the extract is not the word I'm looking for, but it's called, if they have it, we'll see. There's alternative duplicate. We might use that one. Boolean bridge. We could Boolean it away, actually, now that I think about it. But there is extract is the name of it. I just want to see if there's something called extract here. Extend, etc., and there's not. So we're going to Boolean this part away from the rest. So what I'm going to do is hit Q. It's the same body already, so never mind. So with this selected now, I'm going to Shift D to duplicate it. And from the top here now this is considered a sheet at the moment, but I am going to duplicate it, and I'm going to put it in the center. That is far too many of them, I think. And let's go with maybe 6. I think that works. I'm going to combine those together if it'll let me. So now we have those sheets combined. And then I want to turn this into a solid. So I'm going to see if I can combine that with this. And if not, yeah, we can't. So what if not, I'm going to take the sheets here, all of those, and we're going to join those together, which it won't let me. All right. So I'm going to take this lampshade sheet at any rate and thicken it. Oh, that thick. And I'm going to make it thicken toward the inside. It's a little too much. Let's just come back out just a bit, maybe like to here. Agree. And then I can take that because that one is a solid. And hopefully I can grab these guys and make those solids by, I think, patching them should work. So Shift J. Okay, so let's make one from this one maybe. Shift J. That one doesn't work either. So we're going to have to thicken all of these separately or together. And there's one more because that one's part of the lampshade already. We're going to go here and we're going to say thicken. Hopefully this will in fact work. Let's just go a little bit inwards. We're going to right click. Those now become objects that we can select. And let's see which ones. There we go. There we go. From the other side now too. And our lampshade. And actually not our lampshade. We want to grab just these. And I'm kind of wishing I hadn't put that other one on there. But that's all right. I'll figure out how to separate it in Blender. But we're going to take these and these and these and put those together because now that becomes our lamp frame. And in here, I'm probably just going to be able to delete these faces. So I'm just going to do that here and here. And with Shift X or just X, maybe Shift X, there we go. We can just wipe that out. See if I can do the same thing to that face. And then perhaps, and you know what? I don't need to do it to that face because I think that is, oh, that one is embedded. So we're going to get rid of, oh, we do need to keep that one because that is our internal lampshade. We don't want to get rid of it, but we do want to get rid of these guys. So let's go ahead and do that. Delete doesn't work, so X doesn't work, so Shift X works. And then we're going to patch or loft this to this, the L, and we are done, guys. There we go. And if we wanted to, I guess we could have duplicated this part. But I'm real smart like that. If we really had to, though, we could duplicate that and then rotate it around. I'm just thinking stupidly now. Rotate this around until, now it's not centered though. I wonder if it is off center. No, it's just our selection. So we do rotate, hit V, put this in the center point, rotate it until, you know, it's perfectly aligned like this, or at least near enough. I don't know if it's going to work, but if we take that one and the other, and I'm talking about the frames, and we QQ those together, we might get one piece that is the complete lampshade now. Cool. So we did fix that. And so now we need a frame that, like a 4-way or even a 3-way that goes to the outside edge, and then a ball thing for the top. So from the top, let's go ahead and save this before I crash it and cry. I'm just going to save as, this is Harold's table. We can just put this in here with it. I'm going to call this lamp. And from the top now, this gets real easy here. I'm going to make a circle approximately the same size as this one. I'm going to make another one that snaps to this other edge just outside here. Then we can take that face, extrude that down, get rid of the curves. Let's just open these back up. Let's figure out what these sheets are, because that shouldn't be a sheet at this point, but it is. This lofted piece is which one? That's probably that part at the bottom that I was having a problem with. Let's just see. No. I wonder what this piece is now, though. Ah, it is that other part. Let's see if we can make this and this one. So I'm just going to QQ those. Nope, that's okay. Because I'm going to take this sheet that is the wonder why that is being considered a sheet. Probably because it has a hole in it. So now we're going to Shift J that. That does not fill. Not a fan of that, I am not. It's got something to do with that edge right there. You can see this. I'm going to take the cage portion of this and hide it and try to figure out what this guy's so mad about. So that looks good. It's just a matter of these faces at the end here. So I'm going to delete these bits that are causing problems. I'm going to delete that one. In fact, let's just Shift X this whole side and this whole side. And I'm going to see if I can loft these back. So here, let's go actually from here to here. I'm going to go L. That works for it. I'm going to go from this one to this one. L. I'm going to get rid of these guys at the bottom. And instead of deleting, I probably should have selected them and went Shift X and then closed that gap. So and you can select edges and loft between those as well. We're going to go with the G0 on that. Say yep. And we're going to have to fix a few things on this dude. I can already tell. And it's quite possible I'm going to get rid of everything except for this outer shell, because I think I need to just revisit that now that I have that outside done. It's a little bit of a pain, but worth it, because in the end it'll be very cool and look very good. And I don't want to make quick one-off crap just to make a sale. You know, I'm definitely trying to get this stuff sold to people who want to use it, not just make junk, because I wouldn't want to spend my hard-earned money on junk either. Just make sure the outside of this is not selected. This is, so we're going to undo the pieces that are, and I'm going to select the bottom edges now. I hope you guys understand what it is I'm doing here. I've had to go back and forth to get this to work, but it seems like it's working. I'm just deleting the inside faces of this because they're wrong, and so to get that correct, they have to be out of the way so I can thicken that sheet. So now I can just Shift X all those faces. We have a nice clean new sheet there. I also need to get rid of that little dude. And in selecting all these faces now, we should, let's turn this back on because this is going to be called cage, so I don't get confused. Anything that says, lofted or whatever can get really confusing. And then all of this, we'll just grab it as one. Once again, either can be rebuilt. Let's see if we can use that command. Or a B, kapow. I don't think that's a great idea. So anyway, that works enough. A lot of these faces honestly shouldn't be here at this point, but it's okay. Like this and this and this can become one, you know what I mean? If we wanted it to, like so. And then let me turn off our see-through. So we can grab this and this, join all these probably together since the outside has already been made from it. And that's the cool thing about this program. You can make other parts from the other parts that exist and then go back and fix those parts. So it's not letting me join every face. So perhaps we just need to join some at the one point. But this one I think has a split or something in it that just doesn't want to let me do it. I'm going to join this one to this one, maybe. Nope. And I think that's because this one is a bad face. So we're going to either delete it. Let me see if I killed anything on the outside. I'm going to get rid of this one here and this one here. And if it doesn't let me, I Shift X. And that lets me hit it much worse. That makes sense. And I'm going to Shift X that piece right there. See, this one has like some extra stuff going on that normally we wouldn't want. And so I'm going to take the cage now again and hide it so I can see what I need to fix. So this, now I can just loft this over, leaving the probably G2 or whatever, G1 in there as far as the tension. So I think that looks okay. Everything feels smooth. And with that, we can go ahead and try to join the sheets now back together if they are all separates. If they're all smooth. So we're going to loft those. It still doesn't want to loft that. Let's try just a couple at a time. That works, but this cannot be like that. It's going to have to be, thickened probably before I do that. But this works just fine. It's not a big deal that these are, separate pieces or anything. You can join the sheets sometimes here too just by clicking join, which is really honestly what I would rather do because we haven't thickened it yet. So let's just get all of these and try to join them, and then we'll have one piece just like I wanted in the first place. So this one is going to be difficult. Just going to do one at a time, perhaps. Let's see what this is doing. So that's good. Let's join those, perhaps. This doesn't want to. So maybe this one and these two, and not. So join those, join those. That one's got a problem. Join these. Nope. Maybe join these. Yep. So this has is it an overlap? Maybe. I'm going to delete this one. Maybe see if we can do a loft between those, which we can. Just going to say okay. And then I'm going to join these now that they're seemingly better. And if not, I can, and they do. And we'll try to join it with this one now, which we can, and then this one now, which we can. So it's all one. To get rid of any extra lines, of course, I've shown you we go in and we just delete our redundant topology. And if it doesn't need it, it'll get rid of it. But for some reason, it thinks it does. It doesn't matter. That won't render anyway. So let's get everything back on that we know we're going to need to actually look at. And I say with the cage, I think that's okay, but I'm almost wanting to round these edges here. I don't like them flat. They're kind of odd. I don't think they look like wooden slats and not the little round bars that I think they should be. I got the wrong one there, so grab the outside one, making sure that's all we're getting. It's the 2 front strokes. How you guys doing? If anybody's watching, say hey. Just going to continue working on this lamp. If I'm being boring, I apologize. It's one of those things where it's a little hard to talk and work at the same time. I'm going to be doing actual recorded videos again here coming up shortly. So let's just round all these over and right click. That looks okay. Boom. I'm okay with that. So we got our bulb and stuff in the inside of here. Now we need to just do our little things that come over and then our little screw-on ball at the top. So from here, we're going to make a rectangle from the center here. Let's turn on our X-ray so we can get a center. And I'm just going to grab something that's maybe that wide. I'll move this over to where it's somewhere in the vicinity of what we want, and then I'm going to grab the points of it and grab that back and figure out where it needs to be to attach to the side. And I'm going to raise that up. I don't know if this is going to work being non-level, but I'm going to give it a go. Right click. It does work here. So I'm just going to take this and let's push it down for the moment. And you know what? Let me undo that. We're going to take the whole thing and bring it up. I can't be a slob like that. Bring it here, grab it. Let's pull it up to make it thick enough. Then we will make it shorter. Then we will go ahead and thicken it together as one. No, we'll just thicken it at the same time is what I meant. So grab that again, pull these out to a place that does not go through. And now we can thicken this down to start with. Something like that. And for the outside edge, or from the outside, I'm going to get rid of that rectangle. And I'm going to angle it up by rotating the actual body. But we're going to rotate it from the this end just slightly. Make sure it's making contact under here. Being careful. There we go. Okay. So I don't care what that does over there at all. We're going to look from the top, and I'm going to make a radial array of that using 3 copies. So that's obviously way too many in my opinion. So we're just going to go 3. I like the 3 look. Perfect. We were going to queue those together as one object. And then it's not going to matter a whole lot what happens here because we're not going to know where these go or how they go because I'm going to make a piece that just chops them apart anyway. So I'm going to go with another central ring like so. I don't know why that's not centered, but we're going to try to make it. Weird that it's not. It's got to do with the way these joined. So I'm going to grab it and move it to where it is centered with my circle, which is still not working all that great. Let's find the other So we need to now hit shift. Actually, with this moving, I'm going to hit shift and click it there. All right, so now we've got perfect center this way. And I'm going to make that, yeah, if it's a little smaller, that's cool, because if it shows that other one under, it's fine. I'm going to grab this now. We're going to actually extrude this up. And not extrude. We're going to extrude the face up, not the edge. So more like this. I'm going to make another circle. Turn off X-ray. Put it right here in the center. I don't know why sometimes it snaps and sometimes it just doesn't snap. It's weird. All right, good enough. We're gonna make that a bit bigger. It's because of the X-ray I turned off. So now hopefully we can snap to the top surface though, like this. It's not, oh, it is centered, for gosh sakes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and extrude that up. Yeah, that's fine. And then I'm going to do another, I'm going to duplicate this disc. There we go. We're going to pull it up. It's about the same height. We're going to scale it in a little bit. I'm going to make sure that it doesn't come up over the edge there like this. And I'm going to take the other disc below it, duplicate it again, bring that one up. And the way you can get these to snap edgewise is to hit V, grab the edge, and just bring this down until you get it to snap where you want. And then I am going to make this one just a little bit taller. There's a reason for that. And then I'm going to take another circle, pull that in here about like that. This one is going to core out. So W, take this disc and pull that down somehow like that. And then get rid of all these circles, curves. And I'm going to just bond all of those together, those pieces. We can even add this in there. It's all one piece. Why not? And now I'm going to fillet those edges. And at least these to start with. And actually, you know what? We're going to chamfer that one to start with. And then I want to fillet these here. This little decorative piece. And then I'm going to fillet the inner ones a lot stronger so they have a nice curve out. If it'll let me. It's not. Oh, okay. Let's do one at a time. And then I will take this one and try to pull this out beyond the other. About there. Works for me. Nope. It's not going to let me do it. Okay. And if we really wanted to, we could also fillet these after the fact, but I guess it's not letting me do it. I'm going to try and fillet this one. Nope. Let me see if I'll do one of these, and nope. Okay, I'll worry about that in a second because there's a way to make that happen if I want to. And now I'm going to chamfer this guy in and then fillet that edge. I'm clicking them too fast when I do my accept. All right, so with that now we're going to make a sphere. We want this to be a new body, so I'm going to hit B. We're going to start guess from the side. I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to hit B. There's a new body. Something like this. It's not going to be in the right spot, but that's okay. We're going to grab it. We're going to center it from the top. Our X-ray on. Let's go ahead and go to the top. I'm going to move this around until we get centrage. And then that actually needs to be a lot bigger. So I'm going to move it up and scale that. There we go. Much better. I'm going to put a little sort of rivet kind of thing at the top that it's going to be like a bolt head that holds all this together. So to do that, there's 100 different ways we could do that too. Let's go ahead and use a cylinder from here on the top. Can never find the centers of these for some reason. There we go. Something along those lines. We'll lift that up. Do a match face on that in a second. So I'm going to just come up like so. Try and get positioned the way I know I'm going to need to see this. And I'm just going to take my extrude up this way, and I'm going to remove the circle, take this bottom face, and there is I'm trying to remember the shortcut for match face, but it is, don't have one. And we're going to select this surface. That will take that down to match that perfectly. We're going to do a chamfer, or actually a bevel, on this edge. So I'm hitting B. We're going to pull that out to where that's rounded. And then we're going to take this top one. I hope this works the way I plan. And I'm going to round this so we get kind of a flat top there. This may move everything down. It might actually, yeah, there we go. And that's going to be a little more like this. I think the whole thing needs to be a little smaller, possibly, though. It's not bad, though. Let's go ahead and go with it. All right, I like that. We can fill it these 4 edges here, and here, and here. Just a small one. I like it. And I think that this object and this, they can be stuck together. And they actually can't because they're not physically touching, apparently. So we're going to grab these 3 objects and move them down. I'm going to grab this edge so we're moving from it. Let's go V again till we get to like here. I'm going to snap this to that upper surface, and now we should be able to cue those together as one object. Probably shouldn't have done that top piece though, but I can separate that out in Blender. And I think, other than our chord, that is done. So let me just come down here. I'm going to make a little hole from the top in that base. So let's go ahead and we also need to make this cage. This needs to be turned into a solid. So just going to take it, hopefully Shift J, and now it is a solid. This face sheet is still just a sheet. I'm going to hide it real quick. Yeah, that is just a sheet. So let's fix this sheet. I'm going to grab it, and we're going to thicken it real thick like. And I'm just going to go thicken and pull that inward, but not so far, just a little, and right click. And now everything is a solid as it should be. We could rename here if we wanted to, which might save us some issues over in Blender. But first, let's get our, this is going to be our pole. We don't have to do anything with these parts right at the moment. But what I want to do is find the bulb, the cage. This is going to be the shade flat. I'm just going to call it because I don't know if it's fabric or not. Probably is. Get those guys. We're going to hide those two for now and look from the top. That way I can make our little hole for our plug here. So I'm just going to make a circle about like this. And I'm going to make another one inside of it. This is going to be like for a little O-ring where of rubber where that thing's going to come out. I'm going to grab both of these, and to make sure that they are on that surface well, I'm going to select the surface. I'm going to go Shift I, and I'm going to grab the two curves. That it's not letting me grab. So I can grab these first, and then I can go Shift I suppose, and then select our object, and that's going to let me imprint those on the top of it. I believe we can get rid of these curves. I don't think there's anything I need yet. And with those, I can actually duplicate them. And what we could also do is just take this one and hit and just push it in. Now it looks low res at the moment, but it won't when you're done. And then this part I want to duplicate because we're going to make a new face with it that is going to be extruded up and rounded over to make a like a O-ring, like donut type O-ring. So I'm going to take those lines. Now I need to make sure I've got the O-ring piece and I haven't extruded the lamp. So that is just that flat. And so now I'm going to take that and we're going to extrude it out. So we're going to take this flat, we're going to extrude that. And when we do, I'm going to pull it down just slightly. Let's see if there's a way. Yep. And I'm going to grab this face, and then we're going to do a match face back to the surface like so. And this is a completely separate body here. This O-ring should be anyway. That is a face, so this is now an O-ring. Get rid of that other one. And I'm going to take this edge and this edge, and we're going to just round those over. We're going to use this full command if it will let me. And now we have a true little ring on there. Perfect. And if you want, we can give it a material or however we like. This one's going to be something like black, gray, whatever you want. In fact, that can be now less metallic, a little more rough. It's like a piece of rubber, so so we'll make that more rough. It doesn't seem as though it wants to work, but let's just select the actual object. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it needs to catch up. Cool. All And then this color, this piece here and this piece here, they can just be made black or whatever. Like I said, it doesn't matter a whole lot in here. Need to put this on I don't think we can set this material separate unless it is a separate object, so we'll wait on that. And for the curve, for the chord, it's pretty simple. I'm going to make a circle right about, in the bottom of this hole. So we can use that face actually. And we're going to make another face way out here. Of similar size. I don't know how big that one is, but we can scale this one down a little bit. There's 100 other ways we could be doing this too. In fact, let's just do it that way. Let's not use that. What I want to do is take this is going to go behind his chair. So I'm just going to, the most part now, just kind of come around like this. Not make this too perfect. And I'm going to look at this from the side. All of these can be changed, of course. Grab the points and get this back onto the ground. And that looks pretty good. And I'm going to extend this curve. I hope anyway. I'm going to take this curve, and there's a cool command if I could find it. Bridge curve. It's going to go from here to here. That's not working. There's another one that you can make the curve go to a face, and I'm trying to remember what that's called. Let's see. Loft, sweep, revolve, extrude, offset. Nope, 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 nope. None of those. So it's probably going to be in this regular, and I'm going to have to look under curve, at least to narrow it down a little bit. That's bridge curve, but we want to, it's offset, bridge, cut, curve array. We're going to go face, maybe. There's bridge surface. I don't think that's it either. I don't remember. We can terminate this though, I know, on a face, you know what I mean, where this comes out and extends this out to the face of the from the curve. So I thought it was bridge curve. Maybe it's bridge surface, so you can bridge that curve to that surface, and that is not the one because we've already tried that. So it's going to be, I thought it was bridge curve, man. Interesting. I just wanted to see what that is saying when I brought this from here, at least, to there. See what I'm saying? It's wanting to. It's wanting to, for sure. And if I were to do this, it would just make it, which is nice. So Maybe that's what I should have done in the first place, but that's all right. We can just come from here and just snap this right down in the center here, just the same. And we could fill it this once it's joined together. I can take that point. We could go in and fill it that. Evidently we cannot. Yay. My favorite. All right, I'm going to grab that one and pull it out. There's also another way to handle this. Let's undo that join. It's another way. And I swear that was bridge curve or whatever. I could make another curve that comes from here. You know, let me get rid of that. I can make another curve. It comes from here, from the side. You know, come on, let go. It comes up. Why are we going way the heck out there? 1 second. Here and up, and then I'm going to look at this from the side, I hope. And we'll just go like this. Now, granted, I could just connect those, not worry about it, huh? Just like that. Done. All right, so now we can grab both of these, join them. Of course, they don't. They're a little off from each other. I can see it from here. So I can take this one, grab it, move it around, control click it right onto it, and still, nope. Can grab that one now. Huge pain in the butt. It's trying to warn me it's going to crash or something probably. Yeah, they're not in the same plane as what it is, so they can take this one now, grab it, and I can move it around like here, snap it to it, and now they're joined. Hopefully now we can fill it, that curve. And I don't mean joined there. That just means they're stuck together at the same point, so we can join them. And I should, I hope, be able now to fill at this point. The command for that is B, which is bevel. And it still doesn't want me to, but that's okay. We're good to go on it. I'm just going to sit here and waste time if I keep doing that. And what I'm going to do now with this other business, we're going to need this to go up and into a wall. So I'm going to grab that. It's going to kind of do this. I'm going to put this one much closer to a wall. Something a little more along those lines. This does turn, but we don't want it turning that much. So from the top, I'm just going to do this. There we go. We can move these around however we want to. I think that works just fine. And then I'm going to need a little bit of a curve that goes from this point into the wall we're talking about. And then I'm just going to join those together. And now we can take this curve and create a pipe. And that's going to be cool because that's going to be our chord. So I'll just hit P, and it's actually already the right size. I'm just going to use a round chord for it. Goes right into our little wall where we're going to put a plug, and everyone's happy. Look at that. Cool. Well, I'm going to go eat dinner, guys. Hope you have enjoyed this particular video. And what's really sucks about this is the whole time, not the whole time, but a good amount of the time, we've been back on full screen again, and that really blows. But anyway, it looks cool. You might not have got to see it, but it looks cool. Let's just color some of the shade and stuff, I suppose. So go to material view here and get this kind of a yellowish cast. Maybe definitely no metalness on that. Let's pull that down, up the roughness, good amount. We are in a rendered view. I'm going to turn off the lines just so we can see this without all that. Things like this though need the metalness on it. I'm not sure why it doesn't look like there is metal at this point though, because that's supposed to be pretty darn metallic. But yeah, I think it's all looking all right. And let's go take this one. I'm going to worry about that later though, but for now we can at least adjust a few things. I think these two should be one. And probably we'll hide that just for a second. This and this and this all should be one as well. In fact, these can be part of it too. Hey, cat, what are you doing? What are you doing? Does she have food?
I don't know. When you go in there, can you check?
So, yeah, sure. And so now those can be maybe stuck together. It looks like something can't, so I need to figure out what that is. And yeah, for the most part, we're good. The welds, I'm not sure if they're even still in here for some reason. Oh yeah, they're there. They are needing to be bonded, and that is why that wouldn't go together, because these are all one piece. So we're just going to cue that together now, and that's good. This is one piece as well, and this one should go with this. It's not wanting to because it's probably too far away, so I'm going to grab it, just move it up a hair. There we go. And I'm now going to see if we can get that to bond, which we can. All is good there. Okay. And that this should be definitely flat. So I'm not sure what this is, how that works, why this is still, pretty shiny. So something I'm going to need to check into, I guess. I don't know if it's just not keeping up with itself or what. Here, this is obviously going to be more of that same darker, maybe a darker kind of goldish color. Not that this stays this way, but you get it. Cool. And then our nice little cord here gets a, for the moment anyway, little blackish color. And good to go. All right, guys. Well, that is it. Let me know what you thought, and we'll talk again soon. Sorry, a good portion of that video was covered by my big ugly face, but hey, it happens.